You don't need to change your whole life in a day. You just need 1 hour. 1 hour where the world doesn't get to interrupt you. 1 hour where you stop surviving and start building, because in the middle of your chaos, your routine, your obligations, there is you. And 1 hour a day, that's where your power lies. We live in a world where the loudest voice often gets the most attention. But do you know what's more powerful than volume? Wisdom. And wisdom is something no one can give you. It's something you earn, quietly, steadily. 1 page, 1 video, 1 breakthrough at a time. Imagine this. Every single day, you set aside 1 hour, just 60 minutes, and in that 1 hour, you make a commitment, not to the world, not to your job, not to the deadlines that chase you, but to your growth. That hour becomes sacred, no scrolling, no noise. Just you and the pursuit of knowledge. What happens in that hour is magic. You pick up a book on psychology and suddenly you start understanding people a little better. You dive into a documentary about business, and now that idea that's been sitting in the back of your mind, it's not just a dream anymore, it has a strategy. You take an online course, and before you know it, you're learning skills that nobody taught you in school, skills that change your income, your perspective, your power. You see, knowledge doesn't shout, it whispers, it reshapes your mind silently until one day you walk into a room and realize you're not intimidated anymore. You don't shrink, you don't pretend. Because you've put in the hours, you've earned your voice, you've sharpened your mind like a sword, and now you're unshakable. This isn't about becoming a genius. This is about becoming uncomfortable with staying the same. It's about refusing to let the same thoughts, the same conversations, the same limitations run your life for another year. 1 hour of learning a day may not change your life overnight, but give it 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. You'll wake up one morning and realize you're not who you used to be. You're sharper, stronger, smarter, and more in control of your own destiny. People will look at you and think, how did she do it? They won't see the late nights, the quiet mornings, the books, the notes, the rewindings, the confusion, the persistence, but you'll know it was that 1 hour, every single day, where you chose to bet on yourself. And here's the truth most people ignore: talent will fade, looks will fade, but your mind is your forever. The more you feed it, the more it fights for you. The more you sharpen it, the more it protects you. And in a world where everyone's trying to copy someone else, your wisdom becomes your power. It becomes your difference. So the next time you tell yourself, I don't have time, ask yourself this: if you had time to scroll for hours, to binge a show, to complain about where you are in life, then you had time to grow. You just didn't choose it. But now you can. Today you can 1 hour every day learn, expand, evolve, and don't do it for anyone else. Do it for the version of you who knows she was born for more. Because she's waiting, and she's watching to see what you'll do with your hour. Your body is not just a vessel. It's not just something to decorate. It's your home. It carries you through every single victory, every heartbreak, every moment you almost gave up but didn't. And yet, how many of us spend years treating it like an afterthought? We push it past exhaustion. We numb it when it cries for help. We ignore the signs until something breaks. But what if, for 1 hour a day, you chose differently? Not for a number on a scale, not for a dress, not for a post, but for you. 1 hour where you move your body, not out of punishment, but out of respect. Because this body, as imperfect and as flawed as the world says it is yours, and it deserves to be honored. Imagine what that hour could do. Maybe it starts with a walk. Just you and the sound of your footsteps, clearing the fog in your mind. And then maybe one day you put on music and dance like nobody's watching. Not because you want to look good, but because you want to feel free. Or you hit the gym, lift something heavy and realize, damn, I'm stronger than I thought. That 1 hour becomes more than just exercise. It becomes a reminder. A daily declaration that says, I will not sit in this pain. I will not accept low energy, weak boundaries, and a tired soul as my normal. I will move. I will sweat. I will rise. Because when you move your body, you move your energy. When you take care of your body, your mind sharpens, your emotions regulate, your confidence returns. and suddenly things that felt impossible start to feel manageable. That argument from last night doesn't own your day. That fear in your chest begins to loosen its grip because you're releasing it physically, powerfully, one breath at a time. And here's the truth no one says out loud. When life feels like it's falling apart, the fastest way to take back control is to take control of your body. You might not be able to fix the world around you today, but you can move, you can stretch, you can sweat. You can choose to show up for your body even when your world feels like it's crashing. It's not about being an athlete. It's not about doing it perfectly. It's about showing up consistently. It's about realizing that you don't need to do a 2-hour boot camp or have the perfect gear. You just need to start, to honor your heartbeat, to respect the legs that carry you, to feel your lungs work and think, thank you. Because the same body you criticize in the mirror is the one that fights for you every single day. So give it that 1 hour. Let it move. Let it release. Let it remind you of your power. Not someday, not when you're less busy, not when you feel more confident. Now, 1 hour a day. You don't move your body to become someone else. You move it to become you again. You have a dream. Maybe you've never said it out loud. Maybe you hide it because you're afraid someone will laugh, or worse, that you'll fail trying. But deep down, it's there. That quiet voice, that idea that comes to you at 2 a.m., that vision that refuses to let go even when you try to silence it. That's not an accident. That's purpose. But dreams don't build themselves. Ideas don't manifest just because you hope they will. The difference between the person who lives their dream and the one who only fantasizes about it is time, and the courage to claim 1 hour a day for something that belongs only to you. You have 24 hours, life will take 23 of them if you let it. Your job, your family, the expectations, the notifications, the noise. But if you can just claim 1 hour to pour into that thing that sets your soul on fire, the game changes. You don't need to quit your job today. You don't need 1 million followers. You don't need approval. What you need is consistency. You need to carve out 1 hour a day and say, this is for my dream. This is for my future. This is the time no one else gets to touch. Because you know what happens in that hour. You start building. That business idea you scribbled on a napkin, you start researching. That book you've been carrying in your heart, you start writing. That skill you keep saying you'll learn one day, you open the laptop, you start small, clumsy, uncertain. But you start, and that's everything. You build when no one is watching. You create when no one is clapping. You show up even when it feels like nothing's moving. And slowly, 1 hour at a time, you start to realize you're not just dreaming anymore. You're doing. You're not waiting for a perfect moment. You're making one. There is a different level of peace that comes when you know you're working on something that matters to you. Even if the world doesn't get it, even if the people around you don't see it yet. Because the truth is, your dream was given to you, not them. It wasn't meant to be understood by everybody. It was meant to be protected, nurtured, and built by you. So while everyone else is wasting hours comparing, scrolling, complaining, you're creating, you're laying a brick every single day. And you may not see the castle yet. But one day, you will look up and realize you built something no one can take from you, something that came from your heart, your pain, your vision, your discipline. It all begins with an hour. 1 hour when you say, this time belongs to my dream, and you guard it like your life depends on it. Because honestly, it does. We spend so much of our lives reacting to problems, to people, to situations we didn't choose but still have to manage. And somewhere in that chaos, we start to lose ourselves. Our thoughts become scattered. Our emotions take over. Our mind, our most powerful weapon, starts working against us. But what if, just for 1 hour a day, you took it back? That 1 hour isn't about silence for the sake of being quiet. It's about hearing yourself again. It's about stepping away from the noise and checking in with the only voice that truly knows what you need, yours. Maybe you sit in stillness and breathe, not to impress anyone, not to be productive, but to feel your heart beating and remember you're alive. You're here. You've made it this far. Maybe you journal. letting your thoughts spill out raw, unfiltered, honest, or you pray, or meditate, or just walk and think. But whatever you do, it becomes a sacred hour of mental reset. Because here's the truth, the world will never stop demanding from you. The notifications will keep buzzing. People will continue to expect things. Life won't hand you peace, you have to create it. And that 1 hour a day, that becomes your mental armor. In that hour, you process, you release, you get clear. You start to understand that not every thought deserves your attention. Not every emotion needs a reaction. Not every fear is a prophecy. And slowly you gain something most people are too distracted to even realize they've lost. Clarity. Clarity is power. When your mind is clear, you don't chase, you attract, you don't beg, you choose, you don't spiral, you strategize. That's the transformation that happens when you prioritize your mental well-being. You stop being at the mercy of life and start leading it. You begin to notice things, how certain people drain you, how certain habits destroy your peace, how certain thoughts repeat like poison in your head. And because you're finally listening to yourself, you can finally change those things. It's not dramatic, it's quiet, it's slow, but it's real. 1 hour of daily peace can make the difference between burnout and breakthrough, between chaos and confidence, between reacting to life and responding with purpose. This isn't weakness. This is strength at its highest level, being calm in a storm you used to drown in. Because the strongest people aren't the ones who never feel overwhelmed. They're the ones who learned how to come back to themselves every single day, even when everything else feels out of control. So take that 1 hour, not to escape your life, but to reconnect with it. Reconnect with your mind, with your peace, with the strength you forgot you had. It's not selfish, it's survival. And more than that, it's where your real power begins. We often talk about change like it's this big, dramatic moment. A switch flips, everything transforms. But real change, the kind that lasts, it doesn't happen in a single explosion. It happens in small, consistent steps, quiet, steady, almost invisible. And that's why 1 hour a day isn't just a habit, it's a revolution. A personal revolution that rewires who you are becoming. See, the truth is we're all already living in routines. But most of those routines aren't serving us. We wake up scrolling. We react to life before we even fully wake up. We repeat the same conversations, the same patterns, the same excuses, and then we wonder why nothing changes. But when you choose to take just 1 hour and create a new routine, intentionally with clarity and commitment, everything starts to shift. That 1 hour becomes your sanctuary, a place where you choose better thoughts, better actions, better standards. You begin to program your mind, your body, and your energy toward a higher version of yourself. And that version, she doesn't beg for love. She doesn't chase approval. She doesn't collapse every time life tests her. She leads. Every single day, with just 1 hour, you're sending a message to yourself. I'm worth showing up for. You begin to unlearn the conditioning that told you to put everyone else first. You stop running on autopilot and start driving your own life. And even when nobody else notices yet, you do. You feel it. You know something powerful is happening. Your 1 hour might begin as a workout, or a journaling session, or reading something that expands your mind. But over time, it becomes a routine of becoming more focused, more calm, more brave. You start to expect more from yourself. And when that happens, you stop settling for less from others. That's the secret most people miss. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your routines. And if your daily routine is built on survival, on chaos, on burnout, you can't create a powerful life from that. But if your routine has one sacred hour, just one, of discipline, intention, and growth, you become unstoppable. You start building trust with yourself. And that trust, that's the most underrated kind of confidence in the world. Because when you trust yourself, you stop looking outside for validation. You stop quitting every time it gets hard. You stop fearing failure because you know you'll keep showing up. You've got you. And as the days pass, that 1 hour compounds. Your mind sharpens. Your energy shifts. Your identity evolves. You start showing up differently. In relationships, in conversations, in challenges. People might say you've changed. And you know what? They're right. Because you finally decided that 1 hour of progress matters more than 23 hours of excuses. You made that promise to yourself, and you kept it every day, no matter how messy, no matter how tired, no matter how discouraged you felt. Because deep down, you understood something most people never do. The person you want to become is already inside you. She's just waiting for you to make her a priority. And it all begins with 1 hour, one decision, one new routine repeated every single day. We live in a world where people chase quick wins, fast money, overnight success, instant gratification. And while they're chasing shortcuts, they're forgetting the truth. Success isn't built in the spotlight. It's built in the shadows, in the quiet hours when no one is watching. And that's why 1 hour a day can become your secret weapon. Because in that 1 hour, you build what others only dream about. That 1 hour becomes your training ground, your discipline, your quiet commitment to becoming excellent at something. Not for applause, not for likes, not even for recognition, but for mastery. Do you want to write? Then write every single day, even when it's bad, even when your hands shake and your mind doubts. Because with every paragraph, you become sharper. Do you want to be stronger? Then train. Not for the mirror, but for the strength you feel when life tries to break you and you don't bend. Do you want to build a brand, a business, a voice? Then use that 1 hour to learn, to test, to fail forward, to grow, to evolve, to keep going when no one believes in you, not even you. Because in that 1 hour, you're doing what most people are unwilling to do. You're showing up when it's boring, when it's tough, when it feels like it's not working. That's not weakness. That's grit. That's where greatness is born. You want to be good. Be consistent. You want to be unforgettable. Be relentless. While others are distracted, comparing themselves, complaining about what they don't have, you are quietly sharpening your edge. You are focused, practicing, learning, failing better every single day. Because 1 hour of focused effort is more powerful than 10 hours of scattered motion. People won't understand why you say no to parties, why you stay up late or wake up early, why you go again when you're tired. But that's okay, because you're not chasing approval, you're chasing greatness. Excellence is not a gift, it's a decision. A decision you make every single day to commit to your craft, to your skill, to your purpose. And while the world is sleeping on its potential, you are training like your future depends on it, because it does. That 1 hour of focused work becomes a mirror. It shows you what you're made of. It reveals your excuses. It pushes your limits. And in the process, it transforms you into someone who doesn't just set goals, they reach them. Someone who doesn't just dream big, they do big. And you won't always see results right away. There won't always be a cheerleader on the sidelines. But if you stay with it, if you give yourself to that 1 hour every single day, there will come a moment when everything changes, when people finally see what you've been building all along, and they'll call it talent, or luck, or magic. But you'll know the truth. It was 1 hour, repeated, relentlessly, while no one clapped, while no one noticed, while you refused to quit. Because the people who make it, the ones who leave a mark, they're not the most gifted. They're the ones who trained for it when no one was watching. We often underestimate the power of reflection. We're so busy moving forward, chasing goals, solving problems, checking boxes, that we rarely stop to ask ourselves the most important question: why? Why am I doing this? Why does this matter to me? Why am I feeling this way? That's where the power of 1 hour a day comes in. Not just to work, not just to grow, but to reflect. Because you cannot grow without awareness. You cannot evolve without truth. And you cannot lead your life until you know who's really leading it. Your past, your fear, or your purpose. That 1 hour becomes your mirror. The place where you look at your own life, not to judge, but to understand. To connect the dots. To feel what you've been avoiding. To celebrate what you've been too busy to notice. And to ask yourself, am I proud of the way I'm showing up? In that silence, in that sacred hour, you start to see patterns. You realize you've been shrinking in rooms where you should have spoken up. You notice how often you say yes when your soul is screaming no. You recognize how many of your decisions have been rooted in fear, not faith. And suddenly things become clear, because awareness changes everything. You can't change what you don't confront. And you can't confront what you don't understand. So when you take 1 hour to reflect, you're not wasting time, you're reclaiming it. You're choosing to live on purpose, not just by momentum. Most people are afraid to sit with their own thoughts, afraid to be alone with their truth. But that fear, that's exactly why you need to do it. Because underneath all the noise, there's wisdom waiting to be heard. There's a version of you that's trying to break through, but she needs your attention. She needs you to listen. And when you do, you start to make decisions that feel right, not just look right. You start setting boundaries that reflect your worth, not your insecurity. You stop living the same day over and over again, and you start creating a life that feels intentional. Reflection gives you the power to stop settling, to stop repeating old cycles, to stop running in circles and start walking in alignment. Because knowing who you are and where you're going is a kind of confidence that no one can take from you. It doesn't come from books or podcasts or external advice. It comes from within, from the hard questions, from the honest answers, from sitting with your soul and saying, "Talk to me. I'm listening now." And the beautiful thing is you don't need a retreat. You don't need to escape to the mountains. You just need 1 hour, a quiet room, an open heart, and the courage to go there. Because once you start reflecting, really reflecting, you don't just move through life, you rise through it. You don't just exist, you evolve. And that evolution, it doesn't start in a crowd, it starts with one person, you, and 1 hour a day. There is something sacred about choosing yourself, especially in a world that constantly tells you to choose everything and everyone else first. Your job, your deadlines, your family, your friends, their opinions, their needs, their approval. Somewhere along the way, you learn how to show up for everyone except yourself. But when you carve out just 1 hour a day to focus on you, something begins to shift. It's not just about productivity or checking things off a to-do list. It's about reclaiming your own energy, about drawing a boundary and saying, "This is mine. This space, this time, this moment, it belongs to me." And at first it feels selfish. At first you hear the guilt, that voice that says, you should be doing more for others. But here's the truth, if you don't fill your own cup, you will run dry. And when you run dry, you don't show up better, you show up bitter, exhausted, resentful, numb. That 1 hour a day isn't just a habit, it's an act of emotional survival. It's where you meet yourself, where you check in, where you breathe again without pressure, without performance, without pretending. Because when you give yourself that time, you're teaching yourself something powerful: you matter. Not just when you're productive, not just when you're perfect, but always. Just because you exist, just because you're human. And the beauty of it is, it doesn't matter what you do with that hour. You can cry, you can dance, you can sit still and let the world fall away. Or you can create, dream, build, break, rebuild. That hour is your freedom. It's your reminder that you are more than your roles, more than your responsibilities, more than who the world expects you to be. You are a person with a soul that needs care, a mind that needs rest, a heart that needs attention. And when you make that time for yourself every day, without exception, you start healing in ways you didn't know you needed. You forgive yourself for past mistakes. You stop rushing to be fixed and start embracing being whole. You stop looking for permission to rest, and you give yourself permission to just be. And the irony, the more you give to yourself in that 1 hour, the more you have to give to the world. You show up softer, stronger, clearer. You stop reacting and start responding. You stop breaking down in private and start rising in public, because you're no longer operating from depletion. You're operating from peace, and that peace, it doesn't come from external success. It doesn't come from applause or praise. It comes from choosing yourself every single day, from saying, "I will not abandon me, not today." So when life gets loud, when people start pulling at you from every direction, when the weight feels unbearable, that 1 hour becomes your anchor, your reset, your power. Because when the world demands everything from you, giving yourself that 1 hour isn't a luxury, it's a lifeline. So let me leave you with this. You don't need a new year. You don't need a new job. You don't need the perfect moment or the perfect plan or anyone else to believe in you. What you need is 1 hour. 1 hour of intention, 1 hour of effort, 1 hour of choosing yourself every single day, because that's how empires are built. That's how confidence is born. That's how purpose becomes power. Not all at once, but 1 hour at a time. You don't have to have it all figured out today. You just need to show up for you. So the next time you think your life can't change, prove yourself wrong, go give that 1 hour everything you've got. And watch how it transforms not just your habits, but your entire life. The clock is ticking. The question is, will you use your hour or waste it? Because your future isn't waiting, it's watching. And it's ready for you to begin.